Michigan playing tonight.
Yeah, they're doing a double header.
We'll watch it all night.
Yeah.
So glut on basketball. Who is Michigan?
Indiana. Yeah, Indiana.
Oh.
All right, everybody, it's 6:01. We do have a quorum of another member may come in, but I think we can start. I hereby call this meeting of the Township Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Okay, for shorter business, will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Tim Calvin back here. Andrew Cascarella not here. Amanda Warden not here. David Corey
Here.
Robert McConnell,
President.
Sue Parr,
Here.
Jeff Hicks here. David Arking, that's me. I'm here as well. Yeah. Before we do the approval of agenda, long note of personal privilege for the chair. Thank you, Mr. McConnell, for chairing last time. I couldn't be here. I hear you did an excellent job. Nice work. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we have approval of the agenda. I was not here, but does anyone want to make a motion to adopt or amend the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of the agenda as presented.
Was there any corrections? Did you have a correction?
In the minutes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. All right, approval, motion on the floor, it has support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Citizen comments for items that are not on the agenda. Oh, okay. I think you have a copy of the agenda. I think there are some of this in the holder by the door if you want one.
I can kind of read it.
Oh.
It's not always going to be there, but yeah.
We'll be there in a second.
Correspondence, Matt, do we have any correspondence on this case or anything else?
I don't believe we had any responses on this one. I chatted with Dave briefly earlier, and he didn't mention any responses from neighbors.
And that brings us to approval of minutes from the November 14th, 2023 ZBA meeting. Anybody care to make a motion?
I move that we accept with the one change. Item 8 under the public hearings, before the motion there. Member Cascarella expressed appreciation, but she was absent, so it should be Ms. Parr.
On the floor, anybody second that?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted as amended. That brings us to the public hearing. This would be case number V-23-8-24. A variance for Eagle Monk Brewing at 4906 West Mount Hope Highway, Lansing. And this is a variance for section 8.57E. Matt, could you please introduce the case further?
All right, so I'll try my best here. I'm just filling in for Dave's absence tonight or ill. So the applicant desires to install a level 1 solar energy system to the west of their main building on let's see, 4906 West Mount Hope Highway. This is Eagle Monk Brewery wants to put in solar panels. Ordinance requires that they be 50 feet back from the right of way, which is essentially just the front setback line for buildings. This is a legal non-conforming building that was built well before our current rules. So it has a setback of approximately 32 feet, and the applicant wants to put solar panels essentially just flush with the front setback line of the building. Dave in his report makes the argument that the ordinance rule is basically intending to keep with not having solar panels in front of the building. So in this case, since the building is close to the road, you could make an argument that that makes sense, that you would allow the solar panels to go a little bit farther south as well. Let's see. Under pertinent info I'm missing here. And just for reference of level 1, solar panel system is kind of our smallest solar panel array. It's anything under 10,000 square feet, so that means that their applicant is proposing 670 square feet of solar panels. The applicant is here with his answers to the questions, part 15.04B and 15.04C. And I'll be happy to answer any questions as well.
Before I seek a motion to open the public hearing, are there any questions for Matt on this project, this application from board members? I do have one, actually I have a couple.
Okay.
Are these the kind of solar panels that rotate with the sun, or are they fixed position?
They're fixed, yeah.
And I was curious, if these were mounted on the roof of the building, would the applicant need a variance?
I don't believe they would need it, that we have separate rules for on the roof. I'm not sure for commercial structures, if I'd have to double check that, but I believe.
But they're building zoning.
We've done a number of them on residential houses without any special hoops being crossed. So you have, I think, probably not to the degree that he wants, like usually those are smaller ones, but I think that's why people do them on the ground, or you can do larger surface area than you can on the roof.
Can I help with that?
Yeah.
In a minute, I'll ask you. Any other questions for staff? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the public hearing is now open. Second here. We'll find my right place.
Daniel.
Are you Daniel?
Yes.
You all
Mr. Mortatelli, would you care to come to the podium and tell us about your project? Also state your name and address for the record again.
My home address,
Yes.
it's Dan Road in Grand Ledge, Michigan.
Okay, and I see you've provided a written response to the criteria for granting a variance.
Yes, I've never done this before, so I did what I could there, so.
You did a great job.
This is exactly what we hope for from applicants, if you respond to these specific points. So
Okay.
for the record, if you could go through and summarize your responses to these questions, so you can demonstrate that you meet all of the first 5 criteria and then one of the following ones, and you've picked number 4. If you just read your answers.
Actually, I screwed up. It's actually a number 2.
Oh,
Okay.
got me.
Yes, when I was doing it and I turned it in, I said, oh no, and I told Dave.
Oh.
But yeah, that's criteria number 2 on that. So how do you want me to do this? Just like read the question and then my response, or?
Yes. Exactly like that.
Okay. Number 1 on 1504B is it says that the variance request is due to the general neighborhood conditions. And basically, you know, if you look at that property, it's basically the only place where we could put them. And responding to the rooftop, I've had several solar contractors say, you know, the main building was built in 1937 using cinder block. They were concerned that they didn't want to take that on because too many risks of something happening, like the roof falling in, or I don't know. So our only alternative is to put it on the side yard. But in addition to that, if it was on the roof, it just wouldn't give the appeal. I mean, I'm a big fan of solar. We have solar at our house. We've had it for almost 6 years. And it's just very appealing to people like me. I'm a techie guy. And it'll just show, that, hey, this place is, getting towards zero carbon emissions and things like that, where, the world should head. But anyway, that's mostly because that's the only place where we could, that the contractors felt satisfied that that's a safe, good area to put them. Any questions there on that one? Hopefully I'm doing this correctly.
Any questions for Daniel from board members? No, please proceed.
Okay, number 2, that the variance would not cause a substantial adverse effect on properties in the immediate vicinity of the interest. And basically, it's a little, I want to locate it on that west side of the building, at least right even, or just a little beyond the front of the building, not beyond toward the road, but toward the backyard, I guess. And it's not blocking the view of any neighbors or anybody else by being where it's at, because the building's there. So it's not blocking, especially if you're looking to see if any vehicles are coming, anything like that. It wouldn't impact that. So that's number 2. I just, that the variance is not self-created, and basically, again, there's no other options as far as where to put it, and I don't know. That the variance is not contrary to the purposes of this ordinance, number 4. I didn't exactly know what to say, but Dave kind of guided me on this one. Basically, the proposed variance will allow for maximum efficiency of the system, meaning if it goes somewhere else, it just doesn't get it doesn't generate the power needed to make it worth anything, or worth having the project. So, and number 5, that the non-conforming use of neighborhood land, structures, or buildings in the same district, and no permitted use of land, structures, or buildings in the districts shall be considered grounds for the issuance of a variance. And I basically said, due to the age and character of the main building on the property, and boy, when I drove in there 12 years ago, I just fell in love with it. From the state at 54, I wanted to, open a brewery. And I looked all
That's a state
over.
employee, I don't blame you.
I looked all over the general area, and I just said, I'm going to drive over there, see what it looks like. There's so much potential here. But anyway, sorry to get off target there, but so that's why I want to do that. And the big one here, I think, is and it's number 2 under section 504C, that the granting of a variance would do substantial justice to the applicant as well as to other property owners in the district, or whether a lesser relaxation than the applied for would give substantial relief to the applicant. And basically, the reason for this is public service thing, you know, our house is zero carbon. We have no natural gas, no gas of any kind. It's all electric. And our solar panels power it all. And I kind of wanted to get there with Eagle Monk just because, you know, maybe to promote, have other people, you know, jump on the bandwagon of less carbon emissions, stuff like that. So those are my questions and answers, I guess.
I noticed that the staff report, Matt said that it was parallel to the.
Like it extends back behind. Yeah.
It's slightly deeper.
Yeah, he did say that, yeah. I think Dave was more talking about like the front of the building. It doesn't break the front line, but yeah, as he said, it does extend a little bit behind the rear.
There's pictures. It almost looks like it's right in line. That's this first one, but the second one, which is an expanded view, kind of puts it like less than a foot behind the building. So that's what it really looks like. So
I have just one question.
Yes.
That I need to ask for, with regards to your response to question 2 about, not causing a substantial adverse effect on properties.
yeah,
These things are permanently angled forward towards the street.
that's
These
correct.
aren't gonna blind anybody on the road.
No.
I just don't know.
No, it's angled to the south, you know, up. So it's designed to get, you know, like that, not because if it was more tipped that way, maybe, but they're black, so they don't, at least ours at home, they don't really, I've never noticed any kind of glare off of them, you know, coming down my driveway. I've never seen that. So I think they designed it with, you know, safety in mind, as well as because the sun's up there, it's gonna have that type of angle. So it's not gonna be like this where it's gonna.
Yeah, I think that's part of the design, like the darker the panel is, the less.
It's because, boy, you want to capture every bit of sun that you can and not have it bounce back.
Right,
That's-
yeah,
that's
that
a
would just be waste,
If-
yep.
if-
Are there any other questions from board members for the applicant?
Oh, the roof question was the only one I had. so.
I got one. What is that road next to it? The little,
That's a,
Horseshoe?
yeah, the horseshoe.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's an empty lot. It's actually a commercial. That,
Yeah,
when I
yeah, it's
bought
actually in
that
the right of
property,
way.
there used to be a house in there. And we thought about maybe renting it out because, you know, it was an auction type thing and I got it and I thought it would be so much better if it was just torn down because it was a cobbled house. It was really weird pieces and parts. It just didn't look safe to me. So we had it. Had the well kept professionally, all that. So
Part of the driveway. Other
I don't
lot.
think,
It looks, that's what it looks like.
I know that's what it looks like, but I don't think that is true. I think the property line is right at the end of, you see the garage? The property, I was told anyway, the property line's right at the edge of that garage, which is in line with the edge of that horseshoe deal, the drive, used to be a driveway,
Yeah,
so,
okay.
yeah, I don't think that's correct. But it could be, but I just didn't.
Mr. Chair. Own both parcels?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That-
A number of years back, I got an engineering firm come in and they designed a parking lot for like 22 additional spots there. But Eaton County Road Commission kind of turned it down because they were concerned that people would come out of this lot if it was full, turn into the opposing lane of traffic to get onto Marcy to get in our regular lot. So it never went anywhere. I said, okay, if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. So that was gonna be a parking lot. Come to find out, we really didn't need it. We're not that busy. Occasionally, we get a few people parking on Marcy Street, you know, but there's no issue there, I don't think.
How come you didn't put your solar panels on the vacant lot?
Just on the main lot, because I didn't know how many problems we'd run into being a separate lot. Now, I probably could have petitioned to merge those together, I'm guessing, but see, I know nothing about
Yeah.
those types of rules to do that, so.
And this is just me overhearing
Uh-huh.
like them talking, but I believe there was also an issue where like if he had put it on the other parcel there, he'd have to put in a bunch of landscaping, that would have, basically squeezed his area too. Like, I believe that was part of it.
That's true, because when they did call for some berming or bushes and trees as a barrier for the residents next door, so it wouldn't negatively impact them. But I
And
guess
yeah, that stuff kicks in because he's a commercial lot bordering a commercial lot, but if he had put it on the other one, it'd be a commercial lot bordering a residential lot. So that's why even though he has that extra area, he'd lose a bunch of it for that berming and stuff.
So the bowling alley lot there, we'll call it.
Yeah,
Is zone residential.
no, that's zone commercial, just like his is, but then if you had put it on that other lot, then that would be adjacent to residential. So that's why that, like, he would have lost a bunch of space on that lot. So there really isn't the benefit that it looks like there is, because he would have lost.
Because it's treated as a
Because-
separate parcel.
Yeah, yeah,
Why not just merge the parcels then?
yeah. I mean, you
That's a
can,
very easy
yeah,
process.
yeah, it's not hard at all.
I just haven't looked into it, I guess.
I mean, that. All the area you need without the need for a variance.
Then you still be next to residential.
Well, so I would have to put the panels 50 foot back, right?
Yeah.
Which would be toward the back. I don't know how far that would be, but
You want,
I got that big tree there that would probably block some of the sunlight. You know, in the late afternoon and evening, and I just didn't.
Commercial adjoining residential.
Right.
I thought I just heard
Then I-
the only reason for that was because it was a separate parcel.
And I don't
Yeah.
know
Join
what
would be-
that would encompass. I probably have to rip out that driveway to put the berming or the whatever that is. And
That's your 50 feet right there.
yeah, that's 50 feet from the right, yep.
I don't know.
No, we don't have any ability to require anything.
The only other point I make on the merging of the two parcels has nothing to do with zoning, but if you have any special assessments, you might find one of them goes away if you merge those lots.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should look into it. I just don't know what it would take and kind of busy enough as.
Are there any other questions about the application for the applicant today? From board members? Is there anybody else in the audience who'd like to speak to this? I have to ask.
That's okay. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chair,
Thanks.
move the public portion of the hearing be closed.
Motion on the floor, has support, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, public hearing portion is closed. You may proceed if you wish.
One other thing, I'd like to thank you folks for doing this a week ahead of time.
Oh,
Because next week we're gonna be. Oh, yeah.
Scared me. No, I'm just- Okay, so you've heard the petition.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the variance. Tell me what language I need to use.
Cite the case number and state that.
Yeah.
If this is true, that you feel the applicant has met the various criteria for granting the variance 1 through 5, and then number 2 in the second subset.
Exactly as you stated.
I think we can accept that.
Yep, I'm doing the minutes, so we can,
There's a motion on the floor. Does anybody support it? This will call for a roll call vote.
Yes.
Mr. McConnell, support. Ms. Parr,
Support.
Mr. Hicks,
Support.
Mr. Arky, myself, I support it as well. Unanimously passed. Matt, will you please inform the applicant of next steps?
so yeah, I'll have Dave get in touch. Like, I don't remember where him and Gary landed on if you're gonna have to go through internal site plan review or planning commission, but yeah, he'll get in touch with you, one of those two. And after that, yep, good to go.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Enjoy your vacation.
Are you going someplace warm?
Pensacola, Florida.
All right.
Shame on you.
Navy.
Oh, yeah, big Davy town. Have fun.
Well, I also very happy that you're helping with the environment and with the more clean energy. That's great.
It is coming.
Good, which we have none, and other business on the agenda, of which we have none. I'm gonna give Matt a chance to amend staff comments if anything has come up recently.
Yeah, so yeah, we will have a meeting again in 2 weeks. There was an error on the legal notice that went out for the other one. The other one's a fairly straightforward case. It's just a woman that her shed that's been there for like 60 years burned down. Then we have a thing in the ordinance. It was a non-conforming. It's basically like right on the property line. We have a thing that legal non-conform buildings can't be rebuilt if more than 51% of the value is destroyed, and it's just was completely gone. So she just needs a variance to basically rebuild it on the same pad that it's been on for like 60 years or so. So
Is it more than 200 square feet?
yes, yep. And that'll be in 2. Non-conforming. The use was conforming.
That's on the 19th, right?
Yep. I'm aware of.
Any comments from board members? Questions for staff? Hearing none, that brings us to adjournment, if anyone would care to make a motion.
So moved.
That's the floor. The motion on the floor is support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Merry Christmas.
Well done.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you for another.
I do have one thing that.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if there's any.